Snowy and his brothers, Snippy Sonovi. Spotty Snowy, a little rabbit, and his two brothers, Snippy and Spotty, lived in a small village near the forest. Snippy, the oldest brother who had a gray fur coat, was brave and intelligent. He protected his brothers and took care of their needs. Spotty, the second brother, had white spots in brown fur and hence got the name. He was very obedient and helped his older brother, Snippy. Snowy, the smallest one, had shiny white fur. He was lazy and very fond of food. Snippy scolded Snowy that he had to change, otherwise he would get into trouble. But Snowy never listened to his brother. One day, Snippy called his brothers. Spotty, Snowy, tomorrow is Sunday, so we are going to the market. I heard that a lot of new things have come to the market, such as carrot candy, apple cake, and a new ride called Happy Cars, where you can drive around in new toy cars. When Snowy heard this, he was extremely happy. He imagined himself sitting in the happy car licking the carrot candy. He squealed with joy. Brother, what time are we going? I will get up early in the morning and brush my teeth and take bath. Will you please buy me the new candy, cake, and let me drive the toy car? Snippy affectionately held his little brother and said, Definitely, Snowy, but you should not eat too many. We have to come back home for dinner. And Snowy happily nodded his head. Then Snippy and Spotty started discussing what they needed to buy for the house. They knew that they had to buy carrots and nuts because only little was left. They also talked about the leak in the roof and the tools they needed to buy to repair the roof. At that time, Duck Auntie entered their house. Hello, children. How are you? We are fine, Auntie, replied Snowy and asked her, Are you free tomorrow, Auntie? Why are you asking, my dear little one? She asked. We are going to the Sunday market. Would you like to come with us, Auntie? Said Spotty. For that you have to cross the forest, isn't it? Asked Aunt Duck. Snippy nodded and replied, Yes, Auntie, we have to go to the village at the other end of the forest. She said in a voice full of concern. Listen, children, I heard from my friends that it is not safe in the evenings to travel through the forest because of a wolf that has been spotted. I have another task to do tomorrow, so I will not be able to join you. Please be very careful. All of you start early and come back before the sun sets and don't go anywhere alone. Okay, Auntie, you don't worry. I will take care of them, and thanks for letting us know, said Snippy. Next day, Snippy woke his brothers up early to get ready. They started walking through the forest. Snippy reminded his brothers about Aunt's words to return back early. When they reached the market, they were amazed at all the new things. They bought vegetables and fruits and all the tools they needed. Then, they headed to the candy store and bought all the new candies. Snowy and Spotty started chasing each other in toy cars, laughing and screaming. Even Snippy started enjoying himself. They totally forgot about Aunt Duck's warning, and suddenly Snippy realized that it was getting dark and that the big bad wolf might be lurking somewhere. So he made his brothers pack everything to leave the market immediately. Snippy knew very well about his youngest brother that he was very fond of eating. He called Snowy and told, Snowy, don't stop anywhere for eating and stay close to me. Snowy nodded his head and followed his brothers. They started running as fast as they could through the forest. Near the middle of the forest, there was a pile of carrots lying near a tree. When somebody was transporting carrots in a cart, a bag of carrots had slipped and fallen. Snowy could only control his tongue for a while. He started feeling very hungry. He thought, I will just eat one carrot. My brothers are close by. I can always run and catch up with them. But the carrots were so fresh and juicy that he could not stop eating. He kept thinking, just one more, and kept on munching the carrots. He totally forgot about his brother's warning. After a while, only Snowy realized that his brothers were long gone. He ran along the path as fast as he could and tried to find them. He called in a loud voice, Snippy brother, Spotty brother, where are you? But he only heard his voice echo through the forest. By then it was dark. He was scared and confused as he didn't know whether he was on the right path home. Suddenly a hand grabbed Snowy's shoulder. He was relieved and very happy that finally his brothers had found him. He turned around and said, Thank God, brother. I almost got lost. But instead of his brothers, he found a big gray wolf standing there and smacking his lips at him. Snowy started to tremble with fear. He tried to escape from the wolf, but the wolf grabbed him tightly and put him into a sack. The wolf started moving towards his house, singing a happy tune. "Here I come home with my dinner, a juicy rabbit roast meal, a winner." Snowy was crying to himself. "If only had I listened to my brothers, I would not become a rabbit roast today." In the meantime, Snippy and Spotty had reached home, and only then did they realize that Snowy was missing. They ran back to the forest to find him. They asked everybody returning from the market, but nobody had seen him. They called after him and searched everywhere. "Snowy, Snowy!" But there was no sign of him. Nobody knew about him. The brothers became very worried. At last, they got a message from Dinky, the deer, that he saw the wolf going towards his cave in the forest with a sack and a shoulder, and somebody in the sack was crying, "Brothers, help me." They at once knew that it was Snowy. Then Snippy and Spotty ran as fast as they could through a shortcut path to catch the wolf. When they saw the wolf, Snippy told Spotty, "Listen, Spotty brother, this is the plan. We will have to distract the wolf from the sack. I will try to run a little slower so that the wolf chases me. Meanwhile, you release Snowy from the sack, and you two immediately run straight home. Don't stop and look back for me. Do you understand?" Spotty nodded his head. "Come back home safely, big brother." Then Snippy and Spotty started running so the wolf could see them. The wolf thought, "I have one little rabbit, but these two rabbits are big and plump. If I catch these also, I don't have to worry about my food for a week." So tempted by these thoughts, he kept the sack on the ground and chased them. The two brothers started running in opposite directions. Snippy ran a little slowly, and he was the biggest of all, so the wolf went after him first. Meanwhile, Spotty ran back to the sack with Snowy and released him from the sack. He put a big stone inside the sack, and they both dashed home. Once Snippy saw that his brothers had escaped, he picked up speed and ran inside the bushes of the forest. The wolf tried to search for him, but could not get him. He sighed and thought, "At least I have the little rabbit for supper." He tried to heave the sack over his shoulder, but the sack was so heavy that he couldn't lift it. He thought that the rabbit was dead and hence had become heavy. So he dragged the sack home and started heating the pan to make rabbit roast. Once the water started bubbling, he eagerly opened the sack to find only stone inside the sack. To his horror, he could not understand how the rabbit had turned into a stone. He was very disappointed. Meanwhile, Spotty and Snowy had reached home, but their brother had still not reached. Snowy asked Snippy, "Will our brother be safe?" The wolf would not have caught him, right? Spotty was very worried and scolded his brother. "Our big brother is in danger because of you, Snowy. How many times brother and I have told you not to be greedy and careless?" Snowy hugged Spotty and started crying. "I don't want anything bad to happen to our big brother. Hereafter, I will not be greedy. I will listen to you and big brother." Spotty started comforting his little brother, and just then Snippy arrived home. Both of them ran and hugged their big brother. Snowy apologized to Snippy and promised to behave well. True to his words, he always listened to his brother's advice, and the three brothers lived happily together.